Hello, my friends. Hello, my life warriors, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the Day In, Day Out podcast. Woo! Today, on episode 326, I'm very glad, honored, a pleasure to have Peter Banigo on the podcast today. Okay, this gentleman here. He spends every day helping businesses do more with tech. He's the host of Tech Your Business. And yes, a part time digital nomad and a former serial entrepreneur. How are you today, sir? How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Very, very glad to be here.
Excellent, excellent. Now, this is the thing, Peter. Now, look, far be it for me to like take the mick out of you being a tech expert with the tech gig before this podcast started. I would love to say I sit up upon a high horse, but yes, my last pass account was like, nope, lock me out of everything. So yes, I'm glad this is happening right now. The only thing I have access to, but yeah, so I won't take the mick because I'm not that type of guy. But wow, tech guy people, say no more. Now I have to ask Peter. Now, former serial entrepreneur. What is that about?
Okay, so I think it's just part of a life change I had when I was much younger. I think it's just the kind of wisdom you get when you grow older. When I was much younger, I used to be this kind of person that I get this idea, and 24 hours later, I've started it up. I'm not thinking long term or anything else. So we got to a point where I started so many things, stopped so many things, and
Mhm.
then there was a point where I was operating four businesses at the same time, and they were not related. So I had this Target ICT, I had an e-commerce business, I had a procurement business. None of them was related to the other.
Uh, I've heard of people making life hard for themselves, but like, starting up four different businesses. Okay, look, impressive feat that is, but not having them sort of organically link in any way whatsoever. So why did you? Okay, what made you go one business? One business for many people is enough out there in this world. They go,
It's
oh my
more
god,
than more
yeah,
than enough.
yeah, God, yeah. Yeah, you start up your own business. You got all this free time. You can work when you want to. Yeah, yeah, 12-hour, 7 days a week. Yeah. So, what made you go? One business isn't enough. Let me start up two. Let-
Okay. All right. So when I started the first business was a web hosting company. That was in
yeah.
2010. And back then, remote work wasn't a thing. When I was younger, I know I used to be a lot different than I am now. And back then,
Okay.
people always say, "Oh, why don't you go to work?" Because I wake up in the morning on my bed, I receive my orders, I sort everybody out. I wasn't going out. I didn't have an office or anything, and it looked weird to everyone, and it started affecting me. So, so like a year.
It's like going. Peter's lazy. What does he do? All this time in his room, do nothing. Uh,
So like
yes,
yeah, so like a year, I think a year or so into that, I went to a barbecue spot. No, not a barbecue spot, it was a lounge like my friend had, who was managing. They sell
mm,
alcohol and all that. And I was talking with him, and they had a barbecue spot there that wasn't
mm,
running anymore. And I talked to him, I was like, okay, why is this place not running? And he's like, they've not gotten anybody to run it. I'm like, okay, so what if I decide to do it? And he's like, okay,
okay.
that's fine. So he's
No.
like, that's
Yeah.
fine. So that was in the evening, maybe like 7, 8 p.m. in the night. The next morning I go out, I ask around, look for a barbecue person. I get get ingredients, get a banner printed, and by that if the next evening I have it running. So that was how went from the first to the second,
Okay.
unrelated.
Now, now, okay. That is one hell of a jump to go from okay e-commerce, like yeah, affiliate link, like sort of web hosting business, which you know what I mean, quite lucrative back then, quite
Yeah,
lucrative still today. Like, yeah, to like a brick and mortar. Look, brick and mortar is difficult to do.
it
Brick
is.
and mortar, when it is a bar slash restaurant, okay, in the like in oh freak everywhere on this planet, that is not an easy task to do. Like how? Like, and like if it's a bar, how would you find the time to just do those two? Please enlighten me.
Okay, so the web hosting was mostly in the day. I had my everybody send their support tickets, everything in the daytime. Then I had the person who was doing the grilling. I think he was basically managing the first place because I know over
Okay,
time I opened about 4 or 5 of those of that this thing over the next 1 year. But the first few months he was the one managing it. So what we'll do when he makes his okay, he'll buy the ingredients he needs for the
yeah,
day, then I'll just maybe like 5 6 p.m. I go over there. We go over sales for the previous day and everything. Then he prepares everything. We sell most times by maybe 1 a.m. 2 a.m. I go back to my house and
okay,
then
yeah.
wake up by 5 6 a.m. and back to web hosting.
So like this is the thing. Okay, Peter, like I'm getting the idea. I'm getting the idea of who you are, just a small bit, but like, okay, yeah, web hosting, 4 or 5 bars. That's mad. So, okay, so with web hosting and everything like this, with web hosting, opening 4 or 5 bars, okay, you decided to open your third business.
Yeah.
Why? Okay, I'm a little bit scared to even ask.
Okay, what
Okay,
happened? No,
I
no, I
don't know.
think this the barbecue business
Uh-huh.
closed. It lasted for about 2 years because I had to go back. Okay, the web hosting business. I started it on the last day of my undergrad, the last
Okay.
exam of my undergrad. So now, they later
Hmm.
went into you have to go for a master's. After that, people still didn't believe that I was actually doing anything. Yeah, I had the money. I wasn't bothering anybody. I was very comfortable, but they just felt I needed to go for a master's and then get more education. So fortunately, I got a scholarship, a full scholarship. I went to school and took my. So the school wasn't where the bars were. So
Okay.
yes, it just fell apart. It fell apart totally.
Okay. Okay. Right. Now, like this is the thing. The reason why I ask, what asking about the beginning, and I'm not going to go into your fourth business because I don't know what it's going to be. I'm terrified, to be absolutely honest. That's like, yes, I was wrangling cows in space. How? I can't. Is that right? It's just going out there. But like, this is the thing. Like, this was this sort of the sort of gems you were starting to see in regards to all of the stuff going on in your life as a business person, looking at other companies out there in tech and go, like, I had to do all of this to keep everything going. Like, for you know what I mean, brick and mortar businesses,
Yeah,
as well as doing that, as well as doing like two more, like a number of other things, because okay, and holding down our undergrad, like you know what I mean, education.
yeah,
Was this sort of like impetus of like going, okay, I look around and let's just say there are a lot of businesses out there which are quite shambolic when it comes to the realm of tech.
yeah,
There are people working on like very early, late editions of like Office, like year 97.
yeah.
You know, was that the sort of impetus or was it something else what got you into this realm?
That's into the tech now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, into tech now. I realized, okay, when we if you look at the barbecue, what's made the barbecue grow that
Mm.
fast was as early as that I had figured out Facebook ads. So we were actually using Facebook ads back then to yes, to grow the business. I don't know how to cook till now. This is like maybe 12, 13 years later, but I know how to sell. So I think I used Facebook ads there. Then later, after that closed down, I started another. This was food delivery this time. That was based in Wolverhampton, African food delivery. I started with a friend. I think we got this Prince's Trust grant for it. So
Okay.
yeah, so that's to I learned the lesson of brick and mortar. This wasn't an outlet because I was done with that.
He's like, let's open up a restaurant. No, 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 no,
No.
no, 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 no. Like, let's do a takeaway. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that works. That works. So we're doing African food, and that's so we built a website for it. And I too wasn't cooking. My friend was doing all the cooking and everything. Built a website, used ads for that too. What else? So all the business. Okay, I was doing procurement after that. When I finished the masters, I didn't use the masters for anything. End of the day.
A well educated, education well spent. I see. Yes. It's like,
So I was
oh,
doing I was in the procurement business, and a funny thing because most people when they try to do outreach for things like this, they have to walk to the companies, walk to the companies. What I did was I looked at the things we were supplying, and I just on my website then I just created a blog post for each. That was chemicals then, industrial
okay.
chemicals. So I created a
Yeah.
blog post, long blog post for each chemical and everything. Then at the end, put my number. So I didn't need to go to anybody. People were calling me, "Oh, do you have this? Do you have this? Do you have this?" And so just so easy. So I just realized all those things that people do in other ways, I was able to use tech to do them in my own way. So I said, okay, maybe my superpower is in the tech, not in all these other things.
Uh, yeah. You're just like, okay. So this is the thing. You like how comes you're not sort of like, okay, I don't know, becoming the next sort of titan of like tearing it up in like yes, in like in the UK or like yes, going further afield in the US and just like yeah, you're like no. Why did you step back? Because you seem to be like quite sharp, sir. Quite sharp, which is a good thing.
Yeah, okay. I think why did I step back? I don't really talk about it. That was just before the pandemic. That was when I had the
Right.
four businesses I was talking about. Right before the
Yeah.
pandemic, I was in a relationship then, and somehow it didn't work, and somehow it
Oh,
really got to me.
uh,
It
it's
really
like
got to me. Yeah,
does that to you, son? Then, yeah, okay, yeah. It
yeah.
got
So
to you.
that was it. That was it. So
It's
at
like,
that point, I didn't really have that zeal to even deal with all the everything. So I just said, okay, let me just focus on what I really like, what I'll
mm,
do if I wake up and I don't feel like doing anything. Yeah. So that's the point where I just dropped everything else and moved over.
you moved over. Like, this is
Yeah.
the thing. Like, okay. So is now that your relationship sadly ended, like, yeah, is it a case of you're just happy doing what you're doing right now with the podcast and like basically some type of consultancy work
Yeah.
with like kind of tech? Or do you sometimes have that, I don't know, the itch to get back into the fray? Okay.
No.
It's like, it's like for everyone who might be listening, yeah, who are not watching this on YouTube, he's shaking his head like, no.
No, no, no. Because I realized there, when I switched back to doing one thing, I realized with everything we have limited attention, we have limited hours in the day. And I
Mm,
realized you're trying to split that attention into four things that aren't related. These apart from your personal life, these apart from your fitness, your health, everything. It's difficult because you said it at the beginning, even one business is a lot. Even
yes.
one is a lot, yes.
Like, 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 you know what? Like, yeah, with me going, one business is a lot. Going, yeah, I need more. Yeah, that's like I'm not. Yeah, I'll shut up and like, yeah, you can't talk because damn, that's like superpower levels right there. That's like, yeah,
Honest, no, 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 I'm not. I'm not doing that again because I've decided I'm just doing one thing, and I think if I'm ever going to do something else, then I won't be doing what I'm doing. But I don't see myself stopping what I'm doing because it's just. I think from the my romance with tech has been actually forever because I
mm,
remember back then when we first had mobile phones. The phones then used to first of all come with the inbuilt ringtones. Then
yes,
later they brought this what they call these polyphonic ringtones where you can compose. I actually figured out how to compose those ringtones. All my friends, and
oh,
then I didn't have the business sense. So I didn't know I could sell them. I was doing it free for everybody. So all those things. So I'm this kind of person that every device I have, I go deep. I used everything in the device, my computer, my laptops, my car, and I think there's probably almost nothing I've taken apart in my car. I'm
it's
that
like,
kind of person.
okay, like a love of tech and like yes, working it out. All I've got to say is, with regards to polyphonic ringtones, uh, I went to college with a guy. Yeah, he basically cleaned up
Wow.
a lot because it was just like yeah, but it was like like sort of mid 90s, early 2000s where that was all you had, and
Yeah.
before like yeah, and like yeah, he cleaned up. Let's just say uh, he lives in a much higher standard of living than I do today,
Wow.
and like I'll just say, respect to you, sir. I don't know what he's doing today. And like, yeah, hopefully, yeah. Well, when I last saw him on TV, he was doing very well. He was on Dragon, like the African version of Dragon's Den. So yeah, as one of the dragons. So yeah,
Wow.
I'm gonna leave it at that. Research it, people, and to figure out who it is. Now, with regards to like businesses and like their sort of relationship to tech, like what surprises you with businesses today, if like with regards to their relationship with tech? Is it a good relationship, a bad relationship, or what the hell are you thinking? Businesses.
Businesses today, their relationship with tech. I think one thing I've realized is that businesses don't use tech as much as they should. Because a lot of times, there are the few ones that are able to jump on. Okay, you have AI, everybody jumps on AI. You have the ones that jump on video and jump on whatever. But for a couple of, okay, let me give you an example. I think that was when we first started Target ICT, like a year or two into Target ICT. There was
Yeah.
this company I worked with. It's a they manufacture textiles. They have offices in 3 continents. That kind. 50-year-old business, really old business. And then the owner is complaining that he's finding it difficult getting updates and everything. And I go in and I realize that they're using paper, sheets of paper, and Excel. That's all they use. And this is really common in a lot of businesses.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Like it cracks me. Like how can it's not so much it cracks me up, it surprises me, because with my sort of day job I call, like I have done telephone sales and called all over the world,
Yeah,
and like yeah, and there's been times when I've called America. Oh, last time I was doing that was before the pandemic times,
yeah,
and yeah, like with like companies like Squarespace and like Wix, you would think there would be a better standard of website out there for these companies.
yeah.
It's like you go on there and go, "Oh my lord, is it 1994? Is this website on GeoCities or something like that?" That's how deep I'm going, and that's how bad it is. And like this is the US, people. This is not like this is not like, oh yes, yeah, like some bad deep water like place. And like
Yeah,
before we say anything, the UK is just as bad in some places, you know? Like, yeah. So like this is the thing. When you see, like you mentioned just now, yeah, they've had their businesses on paper. Like, yeah, when you tell someone what they have to do to bring things up to speed, is it what type of resistance do you face? Because I imagine you get
I think it's the hardest
it.
thing, hardest thing in the world. I think because by default, humans we are resistant to change by default.
Mm,
So everyone just wants to do everything the way they've been doing it. Because a lot of times, okay, maybe the owner of the business might want the change, the owner of the business might want things to get better. But you have team
mm.
members that have worked there maybe 5 years, 10 years. They've been using this piece of software. They can operate the software with their eyes closed. And I now come in and say, oh, you should change to this. They are going to fight.
It's like, how to make friends and influence people. I can imagine reading that book hard. It's like, okay, hey, hey, Jonathan, how you doing? You know, it's like just want to change what your beloved program, which you can do in your sleep, to this. What do you say? Get out, get out now. So, what do you do in that situation? How do you manage to convince these people to like go from that realm of, "Huh, I'm not going to give up this program for love, money, or like, yeah, you take my child before you like, I'll give up this program." How do you manage to convince them to switch over, move over?
Okay, I think at the beginning, in the beginning, I used to think it would. I'll just maybe try and convince them, talk, and give them all the statistics and all that. But I realized that wasn't working. So what we do these days, what I do these days, is basically I try to um, create pictures in their head, tell them stories, give them stories of where they can be, where their business can be. Because a lot of times, if you use this new software, you find out that you work less, you spend less time, you have more time to maybe go on breaks, spend time with family and all that. So I instead of going all the way, oh, this software does has this terabyte and this gig or all those things, I just say, okay, you're using this now to put in this data in this software. You use an hour. But if you use this other one, it already has your things gotten from everywhere. So you just probably need to just cross check what it has done, which will take you maybe 5, 10 minutes, and you have like 50 minutes gone. So I try to paint that picture of where they can be if they adopt what I am suggesting.
So
Yeah.
basically showing them where they're the benefits and the wins rather than sort
Yes.
of like go, okay, you might have initial painful period of like change, like, well, transition, as they say.
Yeah.
And, but once that's done, you'll be able to get all of this done and, like, yeah, have a better life, as they would say.
Exactly.
Ah, so now I have to ask now, with regards to technology right now, and let's just say technology yet to come. AI is calling. So, like, yeah, if you were to say start one of your businesses today, now what would you like? I don't know. What would you sort of draw on your arsenal of like technology knowledge, or yeah, is there like what things would you apply? Would you say?
I think first of all, like you mentioned, AI is just something else. It's really
Mm.
something else because if it was probably there when I started my business and everything, I probably would have had up to 12 businesses at the same time.
So, I can do this. I can do this. Like, it's like, Peter, what you want to do right now? Sleep, please. Please, God, let me just sleep. Just one day of sleep. Just one, like 5 minutes. I will do things for 5 minutes of sleep, please. It's like, okay.
Honestly, because it's really something else. I play around with different AI tools. I think today or yesterday I was reading that this OpenAI they've released an update that will let you generate videos from text, full
Ah,
videos from text. So
yes.
it's it's something else. It's really something else.
Yeah, because I watched, do you know the YouTuber Marcus Brownlee, uh, MKHD?
Is it the one that gives them updates on AI every day?
No, he does all tech. Like he
Oh,
does
okay,
both.
okay.
Like basically, he was showing a video of like what OpenAI with the video text and everything like this. He was showing a video of like Japanese lady walking through the streets of Tokyo under neon lights and everything like this. I was like, okay, as well as a coastal review. Like because like that, like this is the thing. I admit it's wonderful with what you can do and the sort of realm of productivity. It can
Yeah,
help increase, like it can turn one person into into a small like fighting unit where they will be able to do a lot more things which they wouldn't do it. But that's a when I look upon that, that's like a lot of jobs. Like that one lady,
it
that image of that one
is.
lady, it's like makeup artist, camera person, like like
The
all like editors.
lighting, the
Uh,
director, everything.
yeah. So it's like, I know we're sort of going off on a tangent, but that is quite a scary. Like if you're in that sort of industry and it's coming to like other places rather quickly, hopefully they won't be able to learn how to dial and call people and get them to do so. Oh wait, it's on the horizon. But yeah, like it's scary on one hand, but you see it as a benefit. I take it. I'm not. Hopefully, I'm not putting words in your mouth. Like, what sort of like key benefits do you think would supply other people who are maybe not as savvy with tech like yourself, Mister Wizard?
Okay, for other people who aren't as savvy as tech, like you said, it's actually okay. Let's take an instance.
Mm.
Normally, if someone wants to build a simple web page, they'll have to maybe reach out to a programmer or a designer who would they do the back and forth and all that. But these days, you can just go into an AI to tell them, okay, I want to build a page with this, with this, with this, with, and then in like 30 seconds, you have the code. You now ask it, okay, how do I put this on the internet? It tells you, you get a hosting account, you copy the code in there, and it's so now that's having to deal with someone else and maybe wait for a week to get that. You have it in maybe 30 minutes or an hour. And it actually helps me too, because for instance, there are some things where maybe some programming languages I don't know and I need
Okay.
to fix a problem with that programming language. I can just pick it up and just paste it in my AI tool. It sorts it out for me. I bring it out and that's it. But I
Yeah.
think the problem with it is that AI, one thing I've noticed, especially from the beginning, AI is a very confident liar. So
Yeah, colors the sun, blue, blue. It's damn well blue. It's like,
yeah, it's a very
yeah.
confident liar. So a lot of times you tell it to generate articles, you tell it to generate code, and it just generates nonsense. And if you're not really savvy, if you don't really know what you're doing, you might just take that and put it on. So I think you still need people that know what they're doing to use it effectively.
Okay, like he's saying, there's hope. People, we're not replaced.
Yeah.
Yet. It's like, yeah, come the coming robot war. What? It's like, yeah,
I robots.
yeah, yeah, they were good in the film. No, no, yeah, but okay, I see. Because like this is the thing. One of the programs I've looked at, which I would say is very helpful for podcast side of things for myself. Like, is it Opus AI?
Yeah, Opus
Basically,
clips.
there you go. Yes,
Yeah.
being able to like, from what I've seen, it's quite scary how quickly it can break things down into clips, but it is very handy if you're just like a solo podcaster. You don't have the like the teams like some podcasts do. Diary of a
Yes.
CEO, say no more. Yeah. Have you used that yourself, or is it something you've looked at?
Yeah, I've actually tried using Opus Clips. I've tried using Video AI. They are good, but one thing I've noticed is that probably the parts where it cuts a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times are into what I want or what maybe I feel people would want to listen to. So for my clips, I usually you just have I have my editor just does it. I used to edit myself, but I only managed to do that for like 2 weeks.
2 week. Well, you know what I mean. Like, look, I would simply say yes. God, yeah, the world smiles upon you, sir, that you can have an editor. So yeah, like enjoy. You got it. So now I have like I'm the reason why I'm jumping so like jumping here and there is because time is brief for me on this occasion. I'm gonna get you back on when we can have a good long discussion. But like, yeah, you, sir, now have 60 podcasts out there in the world, from what I can see. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, how is like, yeah, how long have you been podcasting for? Like, because 60 is
Mm,
impressive, very impressive.
yeah, I started last year. So the
Hmm.
first episode was mid last year, mid 2023.
Yes.
Mid
Now,
2023, yeah.
so okay, look, as you're like, how can I say, as you're a person who likes to torture themselves and like with like much work and like just activity in general. Why did you decide to start this podcast?
All right. Okay. So during the pandemic, like almost everybody I've heard, I started listening to podcasts because I didn't have anything else to do. I was stuck in the house and bored and annoyed.
Okay.
So I realized that for my company, we have a blog where we post different, like for the previous procurement, I said we posted, we used to post things and people find those on Google and come to us. So for this, we had that too, where we post different issues people might have and or things they might be looking for for them to come on. But I realized I wasn't getting as much traffic as I wanted on that. But listening to the podcast, I realized that I would actually sit and listen to a 90-minute podcast from the beginning to the end. But
Hmm.
from a blog post, I just can't. I can't really read through a complete book. So I was like, okay, I think it's better. These things we are blogging about would have better impact, making a podcast out of them where you know that okay, people that really need these things would actually listen through because maybe you're driving so you can't skip or you can't do something like that. So yeah, so that was
Yes.
why the podcast started. So if you notice, the first few episodes were all audio. I'm actually a very introverted person. I know it doesn't show that much.
He's a liar. Oh, I'm
Honestly.
introverted. Oh yeah, look at you, you shy wallflower, you. Yeah. I just want to answer the question like this. You have not been on that level whatsoever. Okay, you're introverted. Okay, yes. As we
Yes.
continue.
So actually, for the first like 10 episodes, I was scared of coming on video because I was like, I think if you Google anything about me, probably before mid last year, you won't see any video of me. Maybe the only photos you see are maybe on Facebook.
Okay.
I barely used to take pictures. I didn't ever want to come on video or anything. But I think doing the podcast, I think from last year, early 2023 or late 2022, I think I decided to start doing things I was uncomfortable with. So, like the podcast is one of them. Being on video, talking to people I'm just meeting like this is one of them. I never used to do that. Working out, I never worked out the first 30 something years of my life. I started last year too.
Peter, go to the gym. No.
then when I see people having the morning jog, I'll be like, okay, so what's chasing you? Why are you running?
I don't know. It's like, yeah, no, sir, you say that to me. Why are you running? Yeah, like, I'm trying to stay in shape. Stop it. It's like, yes. So, yeah. getting on the podcast, like yeah, going like talking to strangers over the interweb, and like going to the gym, like over like staying away from it for 30 years. And yeah, what else were you getting out of your comfort zone for? Is
I think apart from that, I actually started learning to dance this year. It's shocking, but I never did that all my life.
so I have to now look. I have to ask, what has sort of spurred you on to like, yeah, dive out of your comfort zone into like, wow, these grand adventures.
I think one thing I've realized for most things that we do, we get the motivation when we have small wins. So let's say the podcast started, I had people reaching out, like, okay, they want to be on the podcast, people reaching out, oh, that episode you posted on cybersecurity, oh, it really helped me. That episode you posted on this, oh, I didn't understand that fully, and now oh, that's really good. And I had that, I was like, oh, okay, so I did this that I was scared of doing. Because actually, let me say the truth about the podcast. I did the
Okay.
first episode in November 2022. And when I put it out, I was like, no, 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 I'm not doing it. So I took like 6 months before I did the second episode.
Love it. Love it. Like, hey, look, that's the way it sometimes goes. Look, anyone who goes, yeah, just like for the vast majority of people, when they go, I'm starting something new, is I go, okay, right, I'm starting something new. And away I go. They will do the first step. And then it's like,
No,
okay, take the second step.
no, this is too
Uh,
much.
yeah. It's like, okay, I'm going to do the second step. It doesn't happen immediately. Might take a few months, like yourself, but they do the second step. It's like, okay, done the second step. Yeah. Okay, third step. Yeah, and then it gets a little bit shorter and shorter, and building that momentum before you know it. It might take a year to get up to full steam. Like once you're there, boom,
You're there.
that's where the change happens. Ah, I like that. I like that. Getting out of your comfort zone, pushing yourself. Now, this is the thing. Now, Peter, I am constrained right here. I'm gonna say what's going on. Like I have to work to a lunch hour on this one at this present time, but I want to get you back for like to talk a little bit more detail about yeah, like okay, there is tech and like people doing their businesses, but there are actual elements of like business and tech which people how can I say think it might be out of their reach or they think it might be passe. Like because you mentioned to get your five like restaurants up and running, you use Facebook ads,
Yes.
which people like go right. And like this has been there are some people which look at Facebook ads and go, huh, it's a waste of money, but or it's a waste of time. But there's 2 billion people out there, and I would like to get a little bit deeper with you about this. Not at this occasion because people will be listening. It's like but yeah, another time. Would you come back and let us talk in a little bit more detail and get
Yeah,
a little bit more?
definitely.
Okay,
Definitely,
okay,
definitely.
no problem. So you know what, Peter, I'm gonna like go. I do have more questions, but I don't want to raise these questions right now with you. So I want to say this is part one. And yeah, would you be well like coming on for part two? You up for
Yeah,
that?
yeah, definitely. I would. I would. Would be glad
Ex-
to.
Excellent. No problem. So I'm gonna say, yeah, Peter, tell people how they can get in contact with you out on these interwebs right now.
Okay, I think the only two places I really update these days are my LinkedIn. So
Yes.
LinkedIn, just search for me, Peter. But I think I'm the only person with my name for now on LinkedIn. Then,
It's like, where is he? He's there. It's like, it's
I think then the second place I update is the podcast. So I think everything about the podcast you can get it on the website techyourbusinesspodcast.com. So if you just go there, you see the links to everywhere, everything about me from there. Everything else is not updated. So
Well, he's like, okay, he's a man of mystery, which can be found any very easily on LinkedIn. He's like, I'm a man of mystery. You're right there on LinkedIn, right? Celebrity. Okay. Well, do people, I'll put everything into the show notes for this part one. And yes, we'll come back for part two, where we'll get into, like, yes, we'll get into quite in depth and get more details and information. Yes. So let me say this to you. Well, I'm going to say this to Peter right now. Thank you for coming on today. You, superstar. Yeah. Like, yeah, your shy, retiring self. Thank you very much for coming on today. Yeah.
thank you very much for having me on.
No problem. I'd like to say thank you to you, my friends, my life warriors, for sticking with us till the end of part one. Part two will be on its way, no doubt. So please stay well, stay safe, be awesome, be excellent, be fantastic. Be all the positive bees you can be in this world and then some. Have a good one, my friends, my life warriors. Peace. Oh, and we are